Hello everybody. Today we have another new lesson regarding news, the different categories of news and of course opinion pieces. As Michael Connelly has said, a newspaper is the center of a community. It is one of the tent poles of the community and that is not going to be replaced by websites and blogs. So, no matter how social media or the internet has rushed in and occupied an important place in our lives, still the eternal place of the newspapers in our hearts cannot be denied. The instantaneous factor of the internet news may be catchy, but to build a perspective, the newspaper is the ultimate resort. As we should keep in mind that a good newspaper is a nation talking to itself. Hence, the reporters should focus on providing an appropriate opinion piece which forms the backbone of the newspaper. News. What is news? News is the timely report of events, facts and opinions that interests a significant number of people. M. V. Kamath in his book Professional Journalism has said that news is any event, idea or opinion that interests or affects a large number of people in a community and that is capable of being understood by them. News should also have an element of timeliness. News is often the account of something which is rare or out of the ordinary. News is the recounting of events, situation and ideas that human nature prompts us as reasonably intelligent, alert and interested people to take note of. Different categories of news. We shall look into the different types of news in this segment. Hard news. Hard news are the stories that make up the bulk of news reporting. The factors which make up the bulk of news reporting: who, what, when, why, where and how. It is the news of important public events such as government actions, social conditions, economy, crime, environment and science. Hard news has significance for large number of people. There is a standard technique to report hard news. In the print media, it is the traditional inverted pyramid form. The major facts are discussed in the first sentence called the lead in an unvarnished style, the less important next with the least important last. In the broadcast news, with the problems of time, sound and viewing, the inverted pyramid style is not used. It follows a square format. The information level stays about the same in the story. There is usually no time for the less important facts that would come in the last paragraphs of a newspaper story. Soft news. Soft news covers wide territory. Soft news may not be timely or have much importance to the likes of the audience. The one thing that all soft news has in common is that it interests the audience. Soft news relies on human interest for their news value. They appeal to people's curiosity, sympathy or skepticism or amazement. They can be about places, people, animals, events or products. The techniques of reporting soft news are as varied as the features. In the print media, soft news seldom follow the inverted pyramid pattern. The main point of the feature is often withheld till the end. The reporter is free to adopt whatever structure they think is suitable. Now we will see what are opinion pieces. The opinion pieces include editorials, articles, middles, review, columns and letters to the editor and so on. This type of writing has one common characteristic. It expresses certain opinion, passes some judgment or offers certain suggestions. What is an editorial? The editorial of a newspaper can be described as the mirror of a newspaper, its heart and soul as well as the conscience. It projects the viewpoint of the paper on any given policy, program or event. It can inspire, motivate, excite, appeal, criticize or reject an idea or a policy. The expression of an opinion can lead the public opinion and sometimes to a large extent mold it. Joseph Pulitzer in 1910 has stated that what a newspaper needs in its news, in its headlines and on its editorial page is terseness, humor, descriptive, power, satire, originality, good literary style, clever condensation and accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. Editorials are written with reason and conviction. The writer should have heart in the subject on which he or she is writing. Editorials should not be repetitive of facts. It should give a digest of fact, evaluate and arrive at a logical conclusion step by step. The editorial writers can write straight if he or she has the background on the subject prior to writing. It is necessary for the writer to find out the paper's past policy on the subject so as to ensure that the line he or she is taking is not contradictory. The argument to be developed in the editorial should be seen in the context of the opposite viewpoint. Spontaneity is the approach necessary to demolish argument of other side. Abusive language should be avoided. It should always be remembered that editorial reflects the viewpoints of respective newspaper house. It is the editorial which exhibits the image of the newspaper. So, needless to say, a lot of reputation depends on the editorials of the newspaper. Thus, distorted or inaccurate facts should be avoided in editorials so that the readers will not mislead and the credibility of the paper is not at stake. Editorials can be written by the editor themselves. Nowadays, newspapers have a battery of editorial writers, leader writers as they are sometimes known, who writes anonymously but obviously under the guidance and direction of the editor to whom all opinion is attributed. Some basic factors needs to be taken into consideration while writing editorials. Number 1. The editorial writer should present facts honestly and fully. Number 2. He should draw objective conclusions from stated facts, basing them upon the weight of evidence and upon the considered concept. Number 3. He should never be motivated by personal interests. Number 4. He should realize that he is not infallible and should give voice to those who disagree with him. Number 5. He should review his own conclusions and correct them should he find them based on previous misconceptions. Number 6. He should have the courage and well-founded conviction and never write anything that goes against his conscience. Number 7. The editorial writer must have something worthwhile to say while writing an editorial or else refrain from writing. Number 8. He or she should have an encyclopedic knowledge at least in his own particular field and should be expert on the same. Number 9. He or she should have an easy and graceful style that appeals to the readers, thereby avoiding pomposity or any exaggeration. Number 10. Most newspapers in India carry 3 editorials and just as often only 2. Now, what is known as the third editorial? Now, what is known as the third editorial? It is usually given to light treatment to subjects, and obviously an editorial should have a clear beginning, a well argued middle, and a distinct end that sums up the editorial view on the given subject. The writer may have different moods in writing the editorial. Mr. Brian Nicholas, in Features with Flair, indicated several moods in which a writer may begin his editorial: incredulous, questioning, counseling, constructively critical, differing, scornful, prophetic, appealing, understanding, and praise. Now we will see what is a review. The critics write reviews on variety of subjects such as books, plays, films, television, and radio programs. While writing reviews, the critics should keep in mind that they are not writing for themselves, but are addressing the readers. Any attempt, therefore, to project too much of the critic's own viewpoint or to criticize a work for the sake of criticism or for the sake of controversy would not enhance the value of the writing. The effort should be to find out something good in everything. The work to be reviewed should be adjudged in proper perspective, that is the level of readers or audience for whom it is meant. The review should have two major elements: explain or describe, and assess or evaluate the work. One salutary principle is that one should not write anything about a person which one would be ashamed to tell him on his face. The pen should be used with great care. The critic need not be a practicing expert in a particular field, but he should have sufficient background knowledge of the subject. The reviewer is free to give his own assessment, opinion, and judgment about the work, provided it is not based on the untruth or malice. At the same time, he should not become annoyed if people do not agree or accept his viewpoint. Now we will come to articles. An article is an elaborate piece of composition written on some broad subject, well documented, and expresses the opinion of the writer who has studied the subject in all aspects. Unlike features, the subject of the article is not very narrow, specific, or minute. The article is generally written in sober style, and the subject matter is treated in a scholarly manner. Now we will see what is a middle. A write-up that generally appears at the center of the editorial page, below the article and above the letters to the editor in a newspaper is known as middle. It is so called in journalistic parlance because of its middle position between the two different types of opinion pieces on the same page. The middle is usually a humorous, entertaining, and crisply written piece, a satire, and an unusual experience or a personality sketch. It may either deal with an offbeat or a topical subject, or attempt to expose or ridicule certain policy, program, activity, or bring to public gaze some grievance or inconvenience. In all these cases, the middle is written in lighter vein so as to make it an interesting reading and provide entertainment to the readers. The selection of topic, general approach, treatment, style, etc. followed in the middle are akin to feature writing. Such compositions, as a rule, do not have much of statistics or documentation or scholarly or soberly treatment of the subject, as is generally found in an article. The language is simple but effective with small sentences. The focus or the thrust is always on specific aspect or on a single point. The success of the middle lies in its holding the interest of the readers from the beginning to the end. Middle is generally written by experienced people who have imagination, observation and have developed necessary expertise by constant practice over a period of time in this type of writing. Letters to the editor. The letters to the editor is a sort of feedback for the newspaper. In a letter to the editor, the individual expresses his personal opinion or grievance on a specific subject of his interest or offers a suggestion to overcome the difficulty. Letters to the editor may also pertain to petty complaints. Such letters can be effective if they deal with a specific point and advance logical arguments. They should not indulge in abuse or deal the subject matter in a roundabout way. They are generally brief in length and intended to make a point or counterpoint. In some cases, the letters are written in a very forceful style and makes great impact on the readers. Now we will see what is a column. A column is a special article written usually by a particular writer at a particular space in the newspaper at periodic intervals. Columns are written in a personalized language and have a style of its own. Some of the well-known columns in India are With Malice Towards One and All by the late Mr. Khushwant Singh, Dateline by Mr. M.G. Akbar, Caveat by C.R. Irani and Jugular Vein by Jug Suraiya. In an editorial page, the column offers relief to the readers from the drudgery of monotonous news items. Now we will check some visuals of the columns. In an editorial page, the column offers relief to the readers from the drudgery of monotonous news items. Only journalists and writers of exceptional caliber or experts in certain fields write columns. Often, the popularity of a newspaper or a publication is boosted by a particular column where readers of that newspaper prefer the writing of that columnist and keenly await for the next issue. A column does not consist of hard news material. The matter is usually of interpretative or explanatory nature. Often, the columnist narrates personal experiences to elucidate a point. Some columns are of serious nature while others are written in a lighter vein. The personal opinion of a column writer is expressed on a subject in a column. Here, the writer has a fixed style of writing and writes on fixed subjects with a particular point of view. Columns are on political, economic or cultural subjects or on sports, radio, films, books, humor, etc. Generally, columnists write once a week, but it may differ and is not fixed. Publicity through the medium of press is most popular and effective. The publicist should make every effort not only to get into newspaper columns, but also to take advantage of other columns of the newspaper. Now we will see what is an opinion column. It is a column which is strongly opinionated. This means that the columnist of an opinion column has no qualms about expressing strong views on any subject or incident. During a controversy, opinionated columns may carry two extreme opinionated views on the subject. An opinion column is totally different from objective news analysis. An opinionated column takes sides openly and fearlessly. How do opinion pieces influence people? Apart from projecting the image of his organization through news stories, features, and articles, a clever publicist may also influence opinion pieces on the editorial page of the newspaper, which comprises of editorials, comments, middle, letters to the editor, etc., in favor of the organization or to the point of view held by it. To achieve this success, the publicist has to act in a persuasive and subtle manner. The publicist may occasionally suggest subjects for editorials. He may also indicate the line or approach to a particular problem. This may be done through writing a letter to the editor and giving him relevant material for his consideration and possible use. Such communications should be signed by the highest authority of the organization. They should be written in a very persuasive, congenial and convincing style. Another method is to make a personal call on the editor and discuss the subject with him in depth. The editor or leader writer may also be invited over lunch or dinner and the problem may be posed before him. If he is receptive, the matter may be further pursued and necessary material forwarded to him. In case the publicist feels that the editor has fixed views on the subject, it is advisable not to pursue the matter any further. However, if the paper's policy is not firmly committed to a particular line, it is worthwhile for the publicist to make all efforts to sell his point of view. The publicist may make clever use of the letters to the editor column. He or she may officially write a letter to the contradicting certain news or certain stand taken by the paper which adversely affects his organization or the point of view of the organization. A more effective way, however, is to get the letters to the editor written by private individuals expressing the point of view which the publicist would like to project. Care has to be taken, however, that it is not overdone. Letters from private persons have not only more chance of publication but also have greater impact on the public mind. As such, very effective use may be made of this column. The publicist may attempt to influence the column writer by sending relevant material which can be fitted into the subject of the column. Since every columnist has his own field and individual style, the publicist should provide him only appropriate material and also make it exclusive for his use. The publicist may also develop cordial relations with the column writer and in this way also may influence him to his point of view to some extent. To be successful in his or her work, the publicist must know that in newspapers there are different people to do different work. Every newspaper has a number of beats: police, political, economic, social, cultural, sports, university or education, transport, etc. The publicist must contact the right man to sell his stuff. If there is any doubt in the matter, the news editor or the chief reporter should be consulted. It should be clear that special representatives of newspapers deal with news of all India importance in their respective subject fields, while reporters cover local functions and news of local interests. As such, it will not serve any purpose to contact a special correspondent dealing with your subject field for local coverage. Similarly, for an event of all India importance, the publicist should approach the concerned representative of the newspaper and not the local reporter. If the publicist likes to get some features or articles in the Sunday edition of the newspaper, they should first study the kind of material included in the Sunday edition. His material must fit in the broad framework of the paper. Also, such material has to be supplied to the magazine editor well in advance and on exclusive basis with good quality, exclusive live photographs directly related to the subject. In this case, it is a good strategy if the publicist puts across the idea of the subject of the feature before the editor. Only if he agrees on principle about the subject, the matter should be pursued further. They should make it clear in the forwarding letter that the editor is free to cut short the length of the feature or make appropriate changes, and that no payment is involved for the publication of the feature. Though it is difficult to influence the cartoons in the newspapers, yet there is no harm in suggesting appropriate themes to the cartoonist of the newspaper once in a while. Here also, the success depends on the relationship and rapport which the publicist has been able to establish with the cartoonist. So, here we end the lesson on opinion pieces. Hope you enjoyed learning about it. In our next session, we will come across op-ed page, special articles which comprises of features and columns, as well as the challenges faced by the reporters in reporting. Thank you.